Bo and Luke Nation, welcome to this episode of the Bo and Luke Show. I'm your co-host, Bo Brabo, and I have in studio our dynamic rock star co-host, Luke Garrignan. Thank goodness he's here, because this is going to be a fantastic episode. This episode is going to focus on a real hard knocks entrepreneurial story, founding a company, growing the company, scaling the company. We have with us today special guests, Harrison Boyd and Warren Allen. They're from Elite Truck in Washington, North Carolina. The background is incredible on how Harrison decided he was going to start this company to begin with. Lots of people have ideas. Lots of people face problems and challenges, and those grow into business ideas. So we want to find out, for all of us tuning in, Luke and I especially, we want to find out how he did it, how he grew the company, where the company's at today, where are they going in the future, and really kind of just jump into that journey with them, so that all of us can learn, so that all of us can be better, know better, and do better. Right, Luke?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So,
Got that intro
Warren,
down.
Harrison, welcome. Welcome to the Bo and Luke Show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. We're excited to be on this.
Yeah. So since there's two of you, we'll try to just name you so we know who's gonna jump in. So Harrison, why don't you kick us off? Start at the beginning, because I think it's a neat story.
It is. It's the whole story blows my mind every day still. But yeah, pretty much I worked in the power generation field. I worked on large backup power systems for hospitals, data centers. I was pretty much a diesel mechanic, but I also worked on the electrical end of everything, the programming, and I did a lot of traveling with that business. With that, we worked out of vans. We also had some trucks in our fleet. So I worked out of different vehicles using different equipment. Through those 7 or 8 years I was with the company, one of the big things was we really struggled finding new equipment for our vehicles, or like ladder racks, van shelving, just toolboxes. We had to get stuff. Everything had to come from somewhere different. And then some stuff, it was so hard to get, or it came and it was really damaged, and then it was really hard to get it back. It was just such a struggle. I've always had interest in e-commerce and online sales. And so that kind of planted the seed of the idea to build, the ultimate one-stop shop where your, commercial customer with a van or a work truck could come and get toolboxes, transfer tanks, ladder racks, lighting, anything they need for their fleet in one place. The biggest key to it, though, was all these companies, I would try to call them, and it was, if I did get someone on the phone, the customer service wasn't really that good. So, especially a lot of your online businesses, the customer service, a lot of them, it's not the best. So day one, before I even started building anything, I had that idea in my mind, and it was set in stone that we were going to offer the best customer service ever. Like, we're just going to take care of our customers. That's what's growing the business. So yeah, pretty much, I built the website, developed some relationships with some really cool American-made companies that build toolboxes that didn't have a really good online presence. Started out with those guys, built the site myself, learned Google Ads and that stuff just myself with YouTube videos pretty much. I mean, it's ramped from there. Started out really small, and I was surprised. Like, my first order, I was so excited. I worked on the site for a year. I worked on it like a year around my full-time job before I got that first order. So, that was super exciting. So from there, I just kept pushing. It kept growing. We brought on a few new brands. Around that time is when Warren kind of came into the picture. We were both looking for office space. I was working off of a Rubbermaid table with my laptop.
Like, no mouse. You just sit there.
He's just using the laptop.
Yeah, buy a mouse, buddy.
Yeah, just the laptop. No monitor, no mouse, just the laptop. But I was getting it done. With my generator job, I traveled a lot. Like, I would drive to Texas or drive to Wisconsin. So when I was driving I would be on the phone with vendors or be on the phone with customers. A lot of it, a lot of the business was built and set up with me on the road on the phone. Um, but yeah, I built the website. We started getting sales. I think it was the end of 2019. It started going pretty good. I mean, I think we sold like 13, 14 grand one month or something. But Warren convinced me to quit my job. But before I really even knew if we were making any money, I don't think I was at that point. But I did. I quit my job, and so that really allowed me to go into it 100%. And like I
Yeah.
said, that's kind of where Warren came in. He really helped with a lot of the marketing side of the business. And yeah, I'll let Warren give his how he got into this with me.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I give a lot of credit to Harris and our boy Brian. They, he had our buddy Brian was helping him out too early on, try to field the phone calls in between when he was on the road, and they had put an incredible amount of work into it. And we were friends from high school, and so he knew I had a marketing and sort of a technology background, and so he'd text me updates like, "Hey, we got these sales, we got this going on," and we met once or twice. I was like, "I think you're really on to something," and yeah, that month he had a really good month in sales. I was like, "Well, could you like pay your house payment and stuff?" Like it,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I can, it'd be good. And I was like, "Well, really? I mean, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to quit your job." And we're at that time I had spent 10 years at a startup that had kind of gone through this growth of a smaller team to a very large team. And I had recently left to start my own marketing agency. So I was helping companies like Harris grow through a different entity. And I said, "Well, I'm looking to rent some office space. Let's just go 50-50. You can work on your thing, I'll work on mine." And, as we focused and spent more time and attention, his vision really kind of came to life, and that there was a huge need for that. And that's when we formalized a more official business partnership, and really both went after it full time. And I think, before we had a big team or anything, it was just that early effort with Harris and Brian being on the phone, listing products, doing whatever it took that built that foundation that was necessary.
Absolutely. I think that's a pivotal, I think this is a pivotal moment. I mean, you can look back on it now and you can chuckle and laugh about it, but we've had people on this show, other entrepreneurs, and the key was you continued to work, right, while you're trying to get this going and doing the things that you can do. You make your first sale, that's super exciting. But you took the time, and then it took someone else to convince you, it sounds like, that you're going to have, if you want to continue growing, you're going to have to quit your full-time job and go all in on this effort. So I think for entrepreneurs or people who have that entrepreneurial spirit, I think that's a key indicator. We have enough stories in the world, podcasts, books, whatever, to read and hear of these stories, that you should be mentally preparing that there will come a day, and you should be looking for this day, that you can jump ship, that you can go all in, and you're going to have to go all in if you want to continue to push and grow with what you had a passion to do.
Yeah,
I think that's a pivotal
necessary
moment.
I
Luke, what
think
do you
like
think?
at the where I was at before too, it wasn't this specific venture I was quitting my job for, but had formed a small business and had a roster of clients paying monthly money. Kind of had, things set up to where I knew that I could leave. And it's like Harris was in that same boat. He had made a lot of decisions of sort of knowing that may come. And I think anyone who really is going to do it, I think you'd agree too. It's sort of a like, you got to think so far ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
I'm glad I stayed with the generator service with my day job for the time that I did, but I'm really glad that I quit when I did and was able to go in 100%, because it's hard to, there's so much that goes into building a business, and you
Yeah.
can't do it with a full-time job. But there's got to be that level of security there that you're going to be able to feed your family and stuff with this new venture. At that point, I felt like we were really we were stepping into a big industry, and just the results I was getting from offering a really high level of customer service, um, I was pretty sure that we were going to be able to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like um, we had a super cool guest episode out last week, and we talked about the power of three, right? So, like, three things. So, what I'm hearing from you, and I think this is powerful and it's key for anybody, like, you had a problem that you were out to solve, right? And that's what you were going after. And then it was customer service,
Yeah.
right? Like, we got to give exceptional customer service. Like, no holds barred. That's what we're going to do, right? And then it was just that it's just the passion that, like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go after it. I don't think it doesn't sound any more complicated. Hard work. Don't 100% hard work. Do you think people out there make it too complicated, or they make it too complicated in their mind, then it, like, holds them back from actually taking action they need to take?
I think a lot of people struggle with execution. I
Mm.
think it's really easy to take an idea or a system and build something, but you can make all the plans you want and do all this stuff, but you gotta execute. I really jumped into it, and I mean, I was up early working on the website. The phone would start ringing at 7 or 8 o'clock. I would take calls all day long, and then go back home and work on the website, and still, maintain relationships with my wife and my family and everybody.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, it was a lot. I think it's really just about, you got to have the drive to do it. Like, in my mind, I knew that nothing was going to, stop me from doing it. Like, I was 100% driven and was going to make it happen. Especially after I quit my job, I was like,
Yeah.
this is going to work.
I think, Bo, like that's a great question. Do people make it complicated? And like through my history, I was, Google partner and stuff. So a lot of people would come to me with, "Hey, I have this business idea. Can you help me run ads for it?" Or whatever it was. As soon as they started talking about, like, "Oh, I have to meet with so and so about a LLC, or I got to get this trademark for this name," and they hadn't sold anything yet, I knew it wasn't going to work out. Like, I knew, that's probably
Yeah.
not the best legal advice, but I knew from an effort standpoint that they would get into all this complicated stuff and give up before. I think that,
Mm-hmm.
like, what Harris did was fundamentally build a proof of concept early on. And it took that first couple boxes of sales to say, all right, this is going to work. And some of that stuff you can get off the ground. You can get a business bank account. You can get some stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
generally, not overcomplicating it and spending your time where it matters, and not knowing what to focus on, and not spending a lot of time on things that aren't going to propel the business is
Yeah.
really hard for people early on, because you get told a lot of things and some of them don't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice. Yeah, I think Luke and I did something similar, and I've talked to other people that speak the same language. So even like when we started the podcast, our whole focus was just on getting people and interviewing them. There's no money. Like, we weren't making
Yeah.
any money. But we knew that the vast majority of podcasts don't even publish 10 episodes. They quit too soon because they think, well, number one, nobody's listening, right? And they don't get any stats that show that anybody's listening. So they just give up, right? And then nobody's listening to them. And there's no money. Like, they thought there was just going to be this immediate path to riches because everybody hears about Joe Rogan and his, $100 million deal.
Yeah.
And we've been going at it for 4 years, and we didn't even incorporate until the end of year 2.
Yeah.
Right. And turn it into an LLC and get a business bank account. So, but that was 2 years after we started and already had, like, my gosh, almost 100 episodes out there. Right. So I think that is great advice. Like, you get too focused on the wrong things. Yeah, super good advice. Luke, what do you think?
Truth. Yeah, it's all about focus, or giving yourself time to even get good at something, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like people, I don't know, technology, just the world and social media today, I think makes people think they should be good at something real quickly, but they're not.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is. That's just life, So just giving yourself that break to be like, okay, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to drive in and get better, right?
Answering a problem that exists. I think that's another problem, is people will invent the problem they think exists without really testing that. I remember someone working with us, and it was like she was really bent on, like, dog toothpaste. and it was like trying to run Google ads and do all this stuff to do it. And there's dog toothpaste out there, don't get me wrong, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the thing, but it's like a lot of times I tell people to work backwards from the numbers. Like, what number do you need to get to live to like consider this successful? Okay, how many tubes of toothpaste do you have to sell for that to work? How long is it going to take you to sell that many tubes of toothpaste? You know, it's like you really needed something like in this. Harris had an exact example where he had struggled for years to find the parts and was like, this is a problem. It needs to be solved. It wasn't a fabricated like need, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree
No,
with that one.
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think some of the best businesses are built solid around, fixing a real life problem. And I think that kind of gave me the drive to build everything. I mean, it was a lot in the beginning because I didn't, I had to
I think we
learn
lost you.
Oh,
the
there we
whole
go.
platform we sell on, and then learn the marketing and then learn about the product. So it was a challenge. But I think just having that drive in the beginning and then being able to look long term and know what this could be, and that always
Mhm.
kept me excited about doing what I was doing every day. You know, looking at kind of like what is your why? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And that's what propelled me every day because I saw how big the market was. And I heard on the phone every day the response I was getting from customers, offering a high level of customer service. And so that gave me that drive to push every day to keep it growing.
Yeah.
So
I think
true.
another key point. Yeah, absolutely. I think another key point that you just mentioned, because I think people go down the wrong road with this too, is that you set out, you were building the website, you were contacting manufacturers to sell their stuff, to get deals going there. You learned how to do Google Ads. You were learning all this stuff yourself. I think that is critical to when you are starting a business, especially if you're selling products, right? That you're in this world, you have to learn it, you have to understand it way before you ever turn it over to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's key.
And you have to find the
Dog
right
toothpaste.
people.
Yeah.
I mean, like Harris
Absolutely.
did a great job of recruiting people, So but he knew exactly where he got to his knowledge based on it and was humble enough to
Right.
say, like, I've gotten to where I can get on this and I still have some really good ideas and I think they work, but could you take a look at it?
Yeah.
And I think
Absolutely.
that's something
It's just
No, that-
one that's been
amazing
important
you
for us
broke
as we
into the
scale
e-commerce
is
space
like,
like this
for
because that
me,
is
it
such a
was like,
competitive
we have
market.
to capture, we have to can up this customer service energy, and then we have to give that can of customer service energy to every person we hire that answers the phone.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't do that, then it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Because that was critical. And so we have a set of mission, vision, and core values that we call it truck, but it's teamwork, reliability, user experience, customer satisfaction, and knowledge. And we reward and sort of reprimand based on those things. It's not always based on like who's selling the most or anything. We actually don't have any factors on that. It's all based on who's sticking to the core values. Are you delivering on those to our customers?
Man, that's like music to my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Warren came on and started helping a lot with the marketing stuff, but then with his background, just having the experience interviewing, hiring, recruiting people, that was a big part, to us taking this thing from, growing it as fast as we did. Like he said, I think the key to a lot of it was bringing on the right people and then making sure that our values, the business's values, what we're pushing, we instill in them. Yeah, and it's grown from there, man. It's crazy. It's like I said, it blows my mind what the business has turned into.
Yeah. So Harrison, when you were starting out, was it one product? Like when you first launched, were you selling one? How many products did you have at the very beginning? When you actually had something for sale, online, was it a product or were there a few products?
So I built a relationship with about three different manufacturers. Altogether, it was probably maybe 150, 200 products.
Gotcha.
So I got those on the site, was very knowledgeable of the products, got the phone system set up, every little thing you have to do to make it work. And then that kind of launched the site, started some Google ads. We started getting some traffic. And then
And where
that
are you at
first sale
today?
came, and then, it was hard in the beginning. There was times, a month after that first sale, there was times where I really thought about just hanging it up. We had several sales and a lot of the products were getting damaged. I was having trouble managing that and the incoming calls. I couldn't really tell that we were making any money. It looked like I was losing money. So there was times where I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I just kept
Yeah.
looking at that big picture. Like, we're in a big industry. This is a clean idea. I'm getting really good feedback from customers. That's kind of what kept driving me. They were just so excited. Someone answers the phone and knows what they're talking about, and is like willing to go out of their way any way possible to help them. So I think the feedback from the customers kept me going.
Yeah, for sure.
But
So what are you up to now? How many products?
We're about 12,000 products live. We're pretty picky about what we sell. There's a lot of brands we could easily bring on, but it's just high quality American made products. We've learned a lot about different industries and different trades, and we really know what people are looking for. So we've gone to a lot of trade shows. We're pretty involved in the industry now. But yeah, so we could list 30, 40,000 products with a lot of, kind of odd brands, but we're really sticking to quality products, and really taking our time with our vendor relationships. So
Nice.
we're, not trying to
It's
list too much.
it's
Right.
and that goes to the core values too, was like the reliability and stuff, and the customer experience is like, we can tie everything we're doing. Is like, is this going to be reliable for our customers? Are we being a reliable partner when we give them this, or are we just selling them the cheapest thing possible for a quick buck? And there's been brands we've taken off the site, and ones that we have essentially exclusive like selling rights with, because they know we're going to represent their product in the best way possible, and that we can take the time needed to sell the product that may need the extra touch.
Yeah.
And that's worked well.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was elitetruckboxes.com. That was the domain I had. And that's what it was focused around, was toolboxes. The elitetruck.com domain was kind of expensive. When I looked at that, I was like, there's no way we would ever buy that. But yeah, it wasn't maybe 8 months later, I think we bought it and made the transition to Elite Truck. And that's really allowed us to spread out. We cover everything in the work truck industry and the work van industry. So
yeah,
all kinds of products you can think of. But yeah, we're about 12,000 products now.
that's pretty cool.
So darn cool.
Yeah. Do you see a trend? So aside from the commercial truck, you sell products for like personal trucks, like just people's personally owned trucks.
Yep.
Do you see any trend? Is there like a brand that is like the most highly accessorized truck on the market? Is it, I'm thinking, Luke has a
Probably
Raptor.
The Raptors
The Tacoma?
aren't as accessorized, probably because they have so much done to them already.
Yeah,
But one
truth.
thing that has been not really difficult, but it is something that we face every time we go to a trade show, is that staying in our lane. Lift kits and rims and
Performance
bed racks and exhaust. Certainly you could go to some of the websites online and get all of those things, but it's not really commercial. It's not enhancing the functionality of the vehicle, which is something from our mission statement. It's not. A lot of it is just accessories, and there may be a day when that makes sense for us, but right now there's so much growth in the commercial segment. Like, that's where we spend our time. So sometimes we see things that are really flashy and we think that'd be so cool to sell. But a lot of times it's like, no, like, we need to be the best place to buy just a bright aluminum 72-inch toolbox for a Ford F-150 in the world. That's it. Like that,
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
No, keep it simple. I think you just made like another key business anecdote, if you would. And it's like you have your mission and you're sticking to the mission, which allows you to do what? Then not get distracted by all the flashy things that we could go sell because they're just flashy and cool. And it'd be neat to do that, maybe, or sell those things. But if it doesn't apply to who you are as a brand, your mission, your vision, your values, then you have the opportunity to say no to those things, and you know exactly why you're saying no. I think people get that. I think that's another one of those things. If you can grab onto those basic concepts, you can build a powerful brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's chasing squirrels, I think, destroys a lot of entrepreneurs. And I'm probably, and I say that because I'm probably as victim to it as much as anybody, because, all of us probably, our minds always turning on what could be next or what we could be doing. But I think that the discipline to be able to say, like, this is what we do, at least from like a brand and a vision standpoint, it makes things simpler for the whole team, because then they can evaluate, they can make those decisions on their own too and not waste time on it.
Yeah, I think
for sure.
It kind of comes down to that saying, like, you should be able to say what you do in like a couple words, a real short sentence at least. And we sell commercial truck and van equipment. I mean, that's, we've stayed in that lane, and we are mastering the brands, the customer service, the pricing, the logistics of getting the products to the customers. I think that's a big part for any entrepreneur starting a business. Like we said, Warren said, is staying focused on on this one thing. Like, what is it you're going to do, and how are you going to do that? Because it's very, very easy for these little opportunities start popping up, and you get sidetracked or get onto something else. But I think, picking that one idea and going for it is key.
Yep. Great advice. Absolutely. So where do you see Elite Truck heading in the next 3 to 5 years?
Our mission is to be the #1 website for truck equipment.
Yeah, we're well on
How
our way.
do you measure that?
Well, right now we're already, the largest retailer for a lot of your major brands that sell toolboxes, all the equipment, lighting, transfer tanks, ladder racks.
We can kind of measure volume from vendors and like distributors and stuff if we can.
Gotcha.
To kind of work our way into it. I think it's there's so much more in certain segments. Like Harris said, we are, we believe we're one of the best places to buy it. But I think some of like this buying cycle for this equipment takes a couple years, and we're so new and we grew so rapidly that there's hordes of people out there who haven't, refreshed their fleet in the last 5 years, but next year they're going to do it. And so for us, it's taken that time to kind of see that and build those relationships, because we're seeing the younger guys buying that equipment now, and they're looking online. They're not trying to find a catalog in the shop and order stuff like it used to work.
Yeah, that's
so fascinating.
That's a big key to our business. A lot of people that are making purchasing decisions or in a management position, we're seeing a younger generation move into those positions, and these guys are used to buying stuff online. People are getting more comfortable spending, buying larger, higher dollar, items online. But yeah, I think with the way we're going, and we're sticking with our core values. We're expanding our office facility here in Washington with a new facility. That's going to allow us to really grow the team and that we need to scale this. But yeah, I think give us a couple of years, this thing's going to be. I mean, it's already huge, but give us a couple of years. I think it's going to be pretty impressive where we're at with it. I think our main goal, like we said, is to become the #1 place to buy truck and van equipment online.
Nice. Well, if you didn't know that you did it, you just invited us back to check in with you 2 years from now. We'll have to have you back on the show. Yes. We're going to be like, okay, we're going back. Here's what you said 24 months ago.
I'm going to be
blow us away.
Washing dishes somewhere, or we're going to have a bigger building, one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, listen, gentlemen, we really appreciate you taking time to be with us and share your story with our audience. We always give our guests an opportunity at the end to do shout outs, promote, let people know how they can find your business, and so forth. So for the next, couple minutes, it is the Warren Harris Show. So take it away.
Cool. Well, guys, like I said, we really appreciate you guys having us on. For anyone listening, elitetruck.com is our main site. From the site there, it's really easy to navigate, find products, anything you need. You can always just call us. We have a really cool team here ready to handle any kind of phone call. But yeah, any kind of truck equipment, any toolbox you can think of, we cover that really well. But any kind of fuel transfer equipment, ladder racks, storage, specialty stuff, lighting, bumpers, grill guards, towing products, anything in that realm of work truck and van equipment, we're here to help any way we can.
Love
Yeah,
it.
and I would say, don't be afraid if you need one little piece of equipment, or if you need something for 50 trucks. I mean, the team's built out to get you to the best person to answer your question. And, and we stick behind this customer service with what we call the elite promise, which is what we'll take care of it 100%. It's not really an insurance or a warranty or a guarantee. It's really it's just what comes when you buy from us. Is that if it shows up and it's messed up, you let us know it, and we're going to take care of it until you're happy. So, visit us again, elitetruck.com. And if there's anything you don't see that you might need, just call. We'll do what we can to help you.
Yeah.
That is super good.
Love it.
Absolutely. So everybody listening, get a pen and a piece of paper. So their phone number is 855-919-2087. It's listed at the top of their website, elitetruck.com. Make sure you call them. Elite customer service. Call them. Get help. If you don't know what you're looking for, they're there. They're standing by, and they will help you. So we thank you so much. Luke, any parting thoughts?
Just keep it up, gentlemen. It's inspiring. I can't wait to see where you're at in a couple of years, but this is huge. It makes me want to start something online, Bo. Or at least do better in the ideas that I do
squirrels,
have.
Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, the squirrels that's an interesting. I love that statement. Chase too many squirrels. For us, the squirrels that, at least for me on the podcast side, how Luke and I kind of have duties separated, like who's doing what. We're using AI tools for several things because it's just really made things super efficient. And there's a couple we use that are just out of this world. But those are like chasing squirrels because every day you're getting pinged about new AI tools that are hitting the market, right?
Yeah.
And they're all fascinating, but you can't use, there's no point in using all of them. Like you could really go down a rabbit hole chasing squirrels, AI squirrels, that can get you totally distracted from why you're actually doing it in the first place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's with anything.
Anyway,
that's
so true.
Easy to happen.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Well, listen, Bone Luke Nation, you have been listening to Warren and Harris with elitetruck.com. Make sure you go check them out. And with that, that's a wrap.